Hello, it's Dawn Michelle from Boho Tarot, and welcome to another tarot journal with me. So one of the reasons that I kind of waited to do this journal with me is because I wanted to make sure that I could show you the process that happens, kind of the pre-process that happens. So how my tarot journaling practice actually works is that I do most of my readings outside of my journal to begin with. Most of my readings happen on scratch paper, and a lot of times I get 2 or 3 of them saved up before I actually put them into my journal. So this is the new journal that I'm experimenting with through March because I'm trying out the disc-bound journal. It definitely has some pluses and it has a few drawbacks, which we'll talk about probably in my March journal reflection. So a lot of times when you see my tarot journal, this is what you're seeing, right? You're seeing the completed page, what I call the archived page. So I've actually done the reading and I've printed out my cards, and then I go back later on and I add all the pretties to it. I add my interpretations and that sort of thing. And this does not happen most of the time at the time of the reading. So at the time of the reading, most of the time what I'm writing down looks like this, and it's on scrap pieces of paper. And my printouts, I tend to kind of save them up. So you can see here I've got several readings on one sheet, plus some little stickers that I made for my planner. But most of the time, this is how my journaling starts. It starts on scrap paper and it starts with multiple printouts on one page. This also helps save me on paper, keeps things a little bit more organized. And sometimes I only do my tarot journaling actually once a week because I will save these up throughout the week and then I will put them in. This also allows me to go back and look at my readings and add to them. So when I have those days that I am just, reflecting on a past reading, but not necessarily doing a new one, I can just come here, I can look at my printout and I can look at my reflections that I wrote, and then I can add to it or that kind of thing. Also doing this allows me to create distance and space between the actual time of the reading and when it goes into my journal. So if it goes into my journal, it generally doesn't go into my journal at the same time as the reading. So generally I do that anywhere from a couple of hours, it might be later that day, to a couple of days. Or if I'm really busy throughout a week, I'll save them all up and I'll sit and do it over a weekend. So the exception kind of to that rule is on occasion I do actually do the reading in the journal. And one of the things that I'm finding with this particular journal is that having these pages that are removable actually does allow me to do some of the journaling at the time of the reading in the journal. And again, I still like to create that space so I can go back and look at my readings and add to them and expand upon them more. But I did just want to kind of point out that this is generally not how things start. This is generally how things start. So I thought for this journal with me, what I would do is kind of start from the beginning and kind of explain that process to you so that you can see that this happens after a lot of thought, after a lot of planning. It's a really fun and creative process and I really enjoy it. And I consider this how I archive my readings. But when I'm in the moment, when I'm reading the cards, when I'm actually doing the reading, this is what it starts out as. And that way I can free write. I don't have to worry about, is my handwriting pretty? Because look at it, it's not. I don't have to worry about, if I want to add color or washi or things of that nature. Like, I don't have to worry about that at the initial time of the reading. I can go back in and use that as a creative expansion on the reading. So as I was talking about having, being able to use some of these pages to actually record the reading. So on the 15th of March, I did my reading and I wrote it all in here, but I took a picture of the reading, but I didn't put it in my journal yet because, again, I was waiting for this this page to kind of be filled out before I printed it. So I knew I was going to have other readings, so I just held on to that, knowing that, it's saved in this document, knowing that I can come back and add it later on. So that's something that, we'll be doing. So you can see here that the front of it is blank because here's my reading, Temperance Star, Four of Feathers. That's right here, Temperance Star, Four of Feathers. So I can take this image, cut it out, and put it in the front here, even though this was a reading that I did on the 15th. So the first thing that I guess we're going to do today is actually put those readings that I pointed out in here. And like I said, I already have the readings done, so really all I need to do is just cut these out and glue them in. Now here's the thing that I love about this. I can take this out, I can move this out of the way, and now I have just paper and room, and I don't have all this other stuff in my way, which is actually kind of wonderful, and one of the reasons why I'm really enjoying working with this. So this is my Temperance Star, Four of Feathers reading, so that would be that one. So I'm going to figure out how to put this in here, because as you can see, if I paste it in this way, it's going to hit my binding or my little dots. And even if I cut it down, I would be hitting them. So I would have to actually cut into the images, which I do not want to do. I can, however, cut out some of the excess. And this deck, this is from the Spirit Song Tarot, which I do really love, but taking pictures of it on my table is not the best idea because it blends right in. So I really needed to take pictures of it on a colored background, which I will try to remember next time I use this deck. But always something to keep in mind if you are, you know, printing out your cards like I am, you know, keep your background in mind. I obviously did not, because it didn't show up well on this white background. You can see in here I used my reading cloth as a background, and that helped a little bit. But here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna cut these out individually, and I'm gonna stagger them because I can, for one, and two, I think it'll look prettier. I think just to, you know, so that they look really like cards, I'm gonna go ahead and round the corners just cause. But so you can see, like, if I tried to do all of this at the time of the reading, it would be a really time-intensive endeavor. And not to say that I don't do that from time to time, but I don't often have the time to do that all in one setting, because I do my readings in the morning, you know, first thing. So it's not that I don't love to do my morning readings, but I only have a certain amount of time to do them in. So that means that in general, I just don't have time to do all of this on top of it. So coming back allows me to also, you know, give some more time to work with that. So even though I used this in another spread, I really like it. And I think it works really well with this particular light colored decks, because it has that gray and the color in it. And so I'm thinking that maybe I'll just kind of tuck my cards around in here and just let them kind of hang out. Maybe we'll go a little bit further up there. And I'd like to put, I think, some craft paper behind the bear, because I think it fits him really well. So that's kind of cute. I can always repunch my holes because I do have a punch. So I'm thinking that like there. And then what I really don't like that this has such straight edges. So maybe what we'll do is go ahead and pull this down, and maybe we'll go sideways like that, just to add some interest. And really, I'm just kind of, you know, playing and positioning these on here. So yeah, I think something like that, just kind of, you know, to make it look like it's just kind of staggered on there. I'm just gonna kind of throw some on here and then try to scoot it around a little bit and hope it hits the areas. I can always go back and add more later. And this is what I'm loving about about this I can't get my words out, this disc bound planner, is because I can do things like this and just pull it out and move it around where I need it. And it doesn't dry instantly, so I can kind of scoot it a little bit if I want. See, now I got that nice layered effect. So I'm going to trim off the excess. So get my punch out here and just pop it in. And always hope I'm lined up correctly so that it punches right. Okay, so we'll save these little pieces because they'll probably get used again. So we have Temperance, the Star, and 4 of Feathers. I kind of like that. It's kind of like a cascade effect. That's probably way too much glue. And for this one, I don't think we necessarily need like any stickers or anything. So that one is done. So I'm going to put it on this side of the, that did not get glued down, little piece there. So I'm going to put it on this side of my journal, and we can move on to the next one. So put those on there, and now like I have big holes here, so let's find some stickers. So I have my little floral sticker book here. If I can get it open. And I think I've been using some of these, which I think will be quite pretty on this page, and I think that's probably all we will need. So I'm gonna do this nice big one up here to take up that space. I'll just trim the excess off. And again, this is another fabulous thing about the disc bound journals, because I can take the pages out and do that with them. Turn and flip them all around. I'm kind of thinking it would be cool if I could get this one to pop out of the Emperor here. That looked totally weird. It's very floral heavy on this side. Like it's too floral heavy on this side. Maybe we need to have it come out of the Queen of Pentacles here. That looks a little bit better. Just kind of balance it out. And you can see like I'm not really doing anything fancy. I'm just, you know, sticking some stickers down. But it's cute, right? It's not fancy, but it's cute. And really the most important thing is that I have my cards and I have my reflections. That's really what's most important. So let's pop this one in here. And look at that. All right, moving along. Okay, so now we are moving into basically another week. And for this particular one, I have my reflections here and I have my printouts here. And so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one out because I know that this was my my Monday reading, my reading from the beginning of that week. I'll save those. And I'll save my Animal Crossing stickers because I need those for something else. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to put, because it's a bigger reading, I'm going to put the printout on the front, and I'm going to do the write-up on the back, which is, you know, something I've been doing quite frequently in this journal. But before I start gluing a bunch of stuff to the front, I kind of like to get my writing in first. So I need to find, so this is my Monday reading, and this was the other reading. So really all I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to use pretty papers, or pretty ink, I mean. And I am going to copy this information over. I've added to it. I've changed it a little bit here and there. I might end up adding to it or changing it a bit as I write it. So we'll just probably put this on speed up so you can see what I'm doing. So I have my reading noted down here of everything that I put in here. Like I kind of condensed and things like that because that tends to be what I do when I look back on it, because some of it is a bit rambly, you know, kind of like my videos. That's how my writing goes too. But I do have my final like reflection on the reading that I wanted to actually put on the front page. And there's glue on my hands again. Imagine that. So I think maybe I might tuck this here, put that in the middle. I kind of wish I had laid it out a little bit better, but this is how I laid it out. So I took the picture, even though it doesn't, like, it's not the best thing to actually put it into my journal to make it look pretty. That is how the reading was laid, so I do make sure that I want to include that. So maybe if I round the corners, that would just kind of help it to look a little bit nicer. I'll just do the medium here. So I'm going to tuck this in here first, and then I'll kind of collage around it, and then hopefully I will have room for my final message. If not, maybe we'll make a little flip out for it. Just have to wait and see. So I want to kind of get this up here as far as I can. I don't want to cover up like the whole cat. I'm gonna make sure I can see the cat because that featured in the story. So with this particular reading, you know, I used a couple of my different Lisa Hunt decks, and I let the story from the Fairy Tale Tarot kind of provide the base for the message, and then I used the Fairy Tale Lenormand from Lisa Hunt to provide my message, and then my Animals Divine, again Lisa Hunt, to provide the energy for my message. So that was actually kind of fun. You read the whole story, and I tied it all together into my reading, which is a fun thing to do. So this one, again, kind of loving that I can just pick these pages up and move them around as I need to. That's actually really handy. The more often I do it, the more I like it. What I'm thinking about doing is using one of those. Will it fit? If I trim it down, it would fit. And writing my reflection on the back, and then making it a card that will kind of free flow in here. Actually, what I could do is put it up here now that I've made all that space for it. Maybe what I'll do is write on it. This may not work at all. Sometimes when I do stuff like this, it doesn't turn out. So let's just write it down first. Okay, so I wrote that down, and again, like as what usually happens is I'm sitting here looking at it and thinking about it, I changed it slightly. Because now I've had a little bit of time and perspective, a little bit of distance from this reading. I have re-looked at this poll several times, so I am, you know, I've gained a little bit of perspective from it. So I think that that's one of the benefits of putting your readings in later on, is you can do that sort of thing. So I can't really cut too much off that side. Not that I really need to. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to take one of these little tags. I have quite a few of them, and I'm going to actually just pull the string off of it, and then I can use the tag for something else. But I want the string because I want to be able to flip this around so I can read what I wrote. I need to punch this hole out. So now I made all this space down here and I don't need it. So we'll collage something down there or something like that. So I'm gonna put this on here. And I could have used like a really pretty ribbon as well, but I don't want it to add a ton of bulk to my journal. Although with this, okay, I'm just gonna keep pointing out the benefits here, I guess. With this, like the bulk really doesn't matter because it is able to flex with it along the rings. So, or along the disc, which is kind of cool. You know, it's basically a 3-ring binder, but with more rings, and you don't have to open it. So I'm going to tie this on here. But even though I don't have to so much worry about the bulk, I do want to, you know, keep that in mind. So I was thinking about punching it through with a brad, which would look kind of cute. But I don't want to take the chance of running into my writing here, so. And I think that this little bless tag really works with my little Lenormand line, because my Lenormand line was basically like, find comfort at home with your loved ones, which I thought was just really perfect, especially, you know, with what's going on in the world today. Let's use the pink one. Let's pull some color in. So I'm just gonna, you know, real fancy here. I'm just going to take a piece of washi and kind of make sure I have that where I want it. And I'm going to tape it down. And so now I have that in here, but I can flip it over and see what my final reflection was, which was kind of cool. And I didn't give it quite enough space. So, and I kind of like the excess hanging down, but I'm going to cut the bottom of it off, although now it may not hang down there, but we'll see. It doesn't really matter, right? It's gonna flop around as soon as I put it in there, but like that's kind of cute. That's a kind of cute thing. So what can we put on the bottom? Because now I've made this great big hole and I need to put something down here. And I have like all kinds of bits and bobs from all my others that I've done. We don't need that grid. You could pull in some of this kind of gilded paper, which is kind of pretty, but you know, I want it torn. I don't want it straight, I want it torn. So maybe put that down there, and could kind of layer that in around Panda. That's kind of cute. I mean, we could add lots of layer to this. I could even pull some up here. If I do that there, then I feel like putting it down here is overkill, but it really kind of fills that space in nicely, doesn't it? And I could layer that there to cover up the rough edge and just tear this side. Okay, I think I like that. Right there. You know, paper collaging is it's just fun. It's fun, and I find it relaxing, which is why I think I tend to do it so much in my journals, because for me, this is a very relaxing, very meditative and calming process. And there are just those days that, you know, you need that calm in your life. You need that moment or that time to just really kind of step away from everything and you know, make something beautiful. Sometimes it's hard to see the beauty in this world, right? Sometimes it's hard to feel connected, hard to see the beauty. So sometimes just taking some time to do some fun stuff like this. I mean, yes, none of this is needed to, you know, to be in my tarot journal at all, of course. You know, this is all extra, but it's a process that I really enjoy, and I think that it really does kind of increase my quality of life, so to speak, because, you know, it brings me happiness, it brings me joy. And I know I'm totally rambling, and I totally changed my tune on what I was going to do there, but that's what happens when we craft. Sometimes it's just wonderful to just relax and settle into it and let the creative process do its thing, because there is definitely joy to be found in the unexpected. So I don't know that we need too much more than that, because for one, I don't want to make the paper like, I mean, this is not super heavy paper, but the more I add paper to it, the heavier it gets. But like, so there's the reading, and then we have the actual reading with my reflection, which I think is kind of cute. I did that one too far, but and so for this one, because I only have the one hole, I'm actually going to cheat it. I'm going to cheater punch it. So I'm going to take my little punch, and I'm going to punch out the hole. It doesn't look quite as pretty, but I don't want to repunch the whole thing because I only need this one hole free. So there we go. That makes it free. Okay. So that one goes on this side, and I need to note the date, which I haven't done yet. And I think that I need to look the date up. So I'll do that later on, but I'm not sure that that's really going to work. I might have to trim that off because it's wanting to stick out the top. Do I mind if it sticks out the top? I don't know if I mind. No, I've lost it. So because this video has already gotten super long, I'm gonna go ahead and stop there. I mean, I will of course finish putting in my other reading into my journal, but I will let you go, set you free. But I just wanted to take a minute to share with you how I take, you know, readings that look like this and put them into my journal, and really stress the fact that this doesn't happen at the same time. Like this, as you can see, this is a reading from the 15th of March. And so that's the first one that we did with the kind of collage cards. And then we did the collage cards again from Friday the 13th. And this time we used the stickers, and there's the reading. Of course, that was already written in, as well as this one. And so I just saved those pictures to do later on when I had time. And then here we have the reading that we just did. So I have the reading that I transcribed on the back from my original, you know, my original messy reading, and added the photocopy of my reading and the little tag with my final reflections, which I think came out really cute. So now I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Thank you so much for joining me for this tarot journal with me. I hope you enjoyed this process and will join me again soon for more creative tarot for an inspired life.